Our story begins with a question. Chu-chun, have you remembered everything I told you? The young man looks back blankly, asking what exactly he was supposed to remember. Third miss. She informs him that the head of the house has been waiting at the hotel for quite some time. After all, they have been husband and wife in name for 5 years, and she warns him about tonight's banquet. She explains that his situation will become very dangerous, promising to give him money when the time comes. He must leave Changchun and hide himself well, otherwise, the consequences will be dire. She sighs and decides to let him sleep for a while. Meanwhile, the Song family arrives. The crowd whispers as the third miss of the Song family appears, marveling at a beauty that exceeds all rumors. It seems the usually low-key Miss Song has invited the elite to a high-profile birthday banquet tonight. Looking at the scale of the event, one gets the feeling that something major is about to happen. Someone asks about the man in her car, only to be told that he is the Mrs. husband. And here is the catch. Her husband, Chu-chun, is known by everyone to be a fool. The onlookers are baffled, wondering why such a beautiful woman has stayed married to a fool for 5 years. To them, it seems like a tragedy, a delicate flower discarded in the mud for half a decade. It is a harsh judgment, but in their world, appearances are everything. We learn that while the Song family struggled over these 5 years, they had a secret advantage. That so-called fool, Chu-chun, possessed a thick, powerful aura that had been steadily recovering. In fact, it was only by borrowing this mysterious aura that the Song family was able to survive and rise again. However, as the hour of the pig passes tonight, Chu-chun's protective aura will finally be exhausted. When the aura is spent, the karmic bond is severed, and his true journey is about to begin. Inside, her father sighs, telling her that she has suffered for 5 years and soon won't have to endure it anymore. He promises she won't have to stay with that fool, but she asks if such a grand announcement is really necessary. She suggests they could have just let Chu-chun leave quietly, but her father insists this is for her own good. For 5 years, everyone has known the Song family took in a fool as a son-in-law, and tonight that must change. He tells her she must dissolve the marriage with Chu-chun in front of the entire city to clear her name. It turns out Yi Xiaowang of the Huang Ting group has his eye on her, a match that could change everything. By climbing into one of Changqing's elite families, she would finally rise like a phoenix to the top of the world. The man in question is none other than the eldest young master of the Huang Ting group, Yi Xiaowang. The crowd parts as the announcement rings out. The prestigious Yi Xiao has finally arrived at the banquet. We see the golden boy of Changqing's business world, and the guests are immediately struck by his handsome appearance. They whisper that he is a true noble, wishing Miss Song's husband were someone like him instead of a fool. Nearby, manager Tang notices a commotion and asks who exactly is causing such a scene. Suddenly, a series of startled cries erupts from the crowd as someone is pushed forward. A man mocks Chu-chun, calling him the star of the night and joking that his sudden disappearance gave them quite a scare. The onlookers pity him, noting that it is a shame such a handsome face belongs to a simpleton. We see Song Qingpeng, a man who, like the rest of the family, has never shown Chu-chun an ounce of respect. In fact, behind closed doors, Qingpeng has spent years subjecting the defenseless man to all kinds of secret abuse. He once treated Chu-chun like a common punching bag, and now he turns to his sister with a cruel smile. He mockingly addresses him as his dear brother-in-law, relishing the man's confused state. He offers a mocking gesture, treating the man as if he were nothing more than a stray dog at a royal feast. He continues his mockery, turning to the others to point out how ridiculous the situation has become. He treats the scene like a circus act, laughing at the fact that a literal monster of a fool is in their midst. To him, Chu-chun is nothing more than a simpleton who doesn't understand the basics of human dignity. Song Qingpeng wonders aloud how he should toy with him next, now that the fool has wandered right into his path. He holds out a drink, asking Chu-chun if he wants it, but insists there is only one way to receive it, by kneeling. He demands the man get down on his knees right there in front of everyone. After the humiliation, he sneers, asking if the drink tastes better now that he's been properly humbled. Song Qingpeng laughs it off as a joke, claiming he never expected the fool to actually take him seriously. It seems a fool's ability to understand nuance is quite limited, which only adds to the crowd's amusement. We see the target of their ridicule, Chu-chun, standing there with a blank expression that they find pathetic. Suddenly, Qingpeng's tone shifts to anger, accusing the man of making him lose face in front of these elites. He is ready to strike, but a stern voice calls out for him to stop before he makes a scene. The newcomer asks if he really intends to ruin the Song family's reputation in front of all these prestigious guests. Qingpeng tries to argue that the fool insulted him and he deserves revenge, but he is quickly silenced. The elder warns him that acting out now would look bad, especially since the master is ready to see the boy. He promises Qingpeng that he will have plenty of chances to beat the man to his heart's content later on. Qingpeng backs down, admitting his mistake, while the focus shifts back to the silent Chu-chun. The attendant tells Chu-chun that the master is waiting and commands him to follow immediately. Qingpeng whispers a final threat, telling him to enjoy his moment of safety while it lasts, because he will be waiting. They arrive at the door, and with a cold gesture, the attendant tells him to go inside. The master looks at him and simply says, "Chu-chun, take a seat." For 5 long years, he had only been allowed to stand in the corner during family meetings, listening from the shadows. To receive such treatment today is a surprise, but now that everyone is gathered, the master decides to get straight to the point. He explains that for the past 5 years, the Song family has relied on Chu Qin's spiritual luck to survive and thrive. However, Taoist Master Zhang has warned them that this luck will only last until tonight. Therefore, they must act quickly to ensure Yanyan and Chu Chun get a divorce immediately. If they fail to do so, they fear Chu Qin's presence will begin to bring nothing but misfortune to the family. One of them scoffs, wondering if Chu Chun even knows how to write his own name on the papers. Another adds that they aren't even sure if he has the coordination to hold a pen at this point. The master laughs, admitting that perhaps he hadn't considered just how limited the boy's abilities truly were. It is clear to everyone now that the Song family is ready to discard him and move on to better things. Chu Qin watches them, noting how they still truly believe he is nothing more than a fool. But to be honest, he doesn't care what these people think, nor does he feel the need to explain himself to them. He knows there will be plenty of opportunities to prove them wrong later. For now, his only concern is Song Yin. After all, Song Yin was the only person who treated him with any shred of kindness during these last 5 years. Song Yin speaks up, reminding them that Chu Chun is a human being and deserves their respect, despite his intellectual flaws. The others laugh it off, patronizingly agreeing with what the third sister has to say just to keep the peace. Chu Chun realizes that if she were to leave this place, he wouldn't stay here for a single moment longer. Suddenly, a servant rushes in to announce that the third young master of the Xia family from Yang City has arrived for a meeting. The master is stunned, asking for clarification if it is truly the prestigious Xia family seeking a partnership. The servant confirms the news, adding that the young master from the Xia family has one specific request. He insists that during the negotiations, he must meet the most famous son-in-law of the Song family face-to-face. One of the men exclaims in shock, wondering if young Master Xia specifically asked to see him. Another scoffs, telling him not to get too arrogant just because he sold a few famous medicines. The master decides they shouldn't keep their guest waiting and tells everyone to prepare for the meeting. He tells them to wait for their triumphant return, while we see the younger generation whispering about this Xia family. One asks which family this is, as they've never heard of them in Chongqing, only to be told they are from Yang City. The Xia family of Yang City is a powerhouse, holding even more influence than the prestigious Yi family. Now that they are entering the Chongqing market, countless people are desperate to secure a partnership with them. Clinging to the Xia family is seen as a once-in-a-lifetime chance to rise to the very top of society. The master calls this a stroke of luck and reminds Yanyan that her eldest brother-in-law has already secured great resources. He tells her that securing the Yi family's support now rests entirely on her shoulders. It is truly remarkable how the Song family can make selling off their daughters sound like a noble sacrifice. Suddenly, the mood shifts as they try to explain to young Master Xia that they don't have a son-in-law who fights in public. The young master isn't convinced, insisting that he saw the man with his own eyes. And then, his eyes lock onto someone, realizing he has finally found the person he was looking for. The family is confused by his sudden arrival, wondering if the son-in-law he seeks is actually Zhou Jian. They quickly scramble to their feet, eager to please their wealthy and powerful guest. The master asks with a hopeful smile if he is looking for their second son-in-law, Zhou Jian. But the young master ignores him entirely, pushing him aside to reach the person standing behind them. The young man, Xia Bei, explains that he saw everything earlier, including the way Chu Chun handled himself in that fight. He admits he was quite impressed and asks if they could speak privately tomorrow, much to everyone's utter shock. Chu Chun agrees easily, noting that he doesn't have much else planned for the following day anyway. And so, the appointment is set for tomorrow, leaving the rest of the family standing there in complete disbelief. They can't wrap their heads around it. Why on earth would young Master Xia want to see this particular son-in-law? To them, he is nothing more than a fool, and they desperately wonder how this could possibly be happening. It seems Xia Bei simply found the scene of him beating up Song Jingfeng in the lobby rather entertaining. But the family is terrified that if Chu Qin acts like an idiot tomorrow, he will surely offend their prestigious guest. They fear that 5 years of accumulated luck and hard work could be destroyed in a single afternoon. The master finds the situation absolutely preposterous and demands that Yanyan sign the divorce papers immediately. Her brother laughs, realizing that as soon as Yanyan signs that document, the family's problems might vanish. By cutting ties with Chu Qin now, they hope to avoid the fallout if the Xia family eventually loses their temper. The others chime in, urging their sister to think of the family's safety, and perhaps her own future as well. They press her to sign quickly, acting as if they have her best interests at heart. Yes, of course they do. The chorus of voices grows louder, all of them telling Yanyan that this is for her own good. Deep down, she remembers that Chu Chun has given 5 years of his life to this family, only to be discarded now. She looks at Song Yun, wondering if he, too, has finally chosen the family's interests over loyalty. It has been 5 long years, after all, 5 years of Chu Chun quietly supporting them from the shadows. He was the one who helped the Song family rise from the brink, and now that they've succeeded, they want him gone. She worries how a man with his perceived flaws could possibly survive on the streets all by himself. Yin Yin speaks up, making it clear she has no interest in any young master or becoming a mere tool for their political marriage. She refuses to let her life be dictated by the family's desire for a strategic alliance. She reminds them that her mother's memory shouldn't be used as a bargaining chip for the family's gain. The tension in the room rises as she stands her ground against the family elders. It seems the peaceful life they once knew is rapidly dissolving into chaos. The master is absolutely livid, finding the entire situation utterly preposterous, especially regarding the Xia family's involvement. Chu Qin steps forward, noting that while the partnership is important to them, young Master Xia specifically asked for him. He points out that the young master only wants to speak with him directly about the potential collaboration. He promises that if anything goes wrong, he will take full responsibility and won't let the Song family suffer for it. Furthermore, he insists they respect Song Yan's wishes. Otherwise, he might say something unfortunate to young Master Xia tomorrow. The threat hangs in the air, leaving them stuttering in disbelief. To be honest, they weren't expecting him to fight back. They wonder how this supposed fool suddenly became so articulate and bold. Chu Chun is certainly full of surprises today. Her brother scoffs, asking who he thinks he is and how they could possibly prove he's acting alone if he causes trouble. Suddenly, a new voice interrupts, offering to provide that proof. It is none other than young Master Yi. Yi assures everyone that even if Chu Chun causes a scene in front of young Master Xia tomorrow, he will handle it. He guarantees he can prove the Song family has no connection to Chu Chin's actions. They ask if he truly means it. Yi claims his family has already secured a deal with the Xia family regarding tomorrow's meeting anyway. He dismisses Xia Bei's earlier interest as nothing more than a drunken joke, which, naturally, eases the family's fears. Seeing that Song Yin is still hesitating, he suggests a different approach to settle the matter once and for all. He proposes giving Chu Chun just one day to prove himself, suggesting that he and Chu Chun settle this publicly. He proposes a fair competition, claiming he will make Chu Chun admit defeat with absolute certainty. He is confident he can win him over completely. Her father, however, remains skeptical about the plan. He asks if they are truly going to let Chu Chun meet young Master Xia, wondering what other choice they have. But since young Master Yi has offered to cover for them, they assume the Xia family won't be a problem. They believe that as long as Yin Yin sees Ye's true strength, she will surely change her mind about everything. However, just to be safe and avoid any unnecessary risks, they decide to take a few extra precautions. Lu Hai, the old master, is waiting. We see the gears of the family's internal politics turning once more. He instructs him to arrange for someone to take Chu Chun back home immediately, as he requested. The message is understood. A moment later, Song Yin turns to Chu Chun and thanks him for his help. She thanks him for stepping in earlier, wondering to herself if he has finally stopped being so foolish. She is surprised that he actually stood up for her. He simply replies that it was the right thing to do. The butler interrupts, noting it's getting late and offering to escort the son-in-law back home. Song Yin tells Chu Chun to go home and rest well, entrusting butler Song with his safe return. The butler agrees, though his tone carries a hint of something else, and so they head out. Nearby, people are whispering, asking if others saw the foolish son-in-law hit Song Qingpeng in public. They saw it, noting that while Qingpeng wanted to strike back, the butler managed to hold him back. Some lament missing the drama, but others mention they just saw Song Qingpeng nearby. It seems Qingpeng has called a group of people over, suggesting the show might not be over just yet. They wonder if it's true. We see Chu Chun overhearing them, wondering what they are talking about. It appears Qingpeng is preparing for revenge, and Chu Chun might be heading straight into a trap. Song Yin calls out to the butler, asking if Chu Chun is on his way home yet. Butler Song confirms they are just about to head out. They are making their way to the parking lot, but Song Yin is worried, asking if Song Qingpeng is anywhere nearby. The butler sounds puzzled, wondering why she's asking about Qingpeng. She mentions hearing how he stopped Qingpeng from hitting Chu Chun earlier. She admits she's still afraid of Qingpeng seeking some sort of petty revenge. To be honest, her concern is quite justified. The butler tells her not to worry, promising he will personally see to it that Chu Chun is delivered home safely. He claims it's his duty, though he adds a strange joke about being afraid Chu Chun might hit them instead. A bit of an odd remark, really. Suddenly, Qingpeng appears with a sneer, greeting his brother-in-law as if nothing had happened between them. Song Yin tells the butler to focus on driving and says her goodbyes, unaware of the tension brewing in the parking lot. Qingpeng whispers to the butler that he promised to find an opportunity for revenge. It seems a dark deal has been struck. The butler understands perfectly, telling Qingpeng that he owes him a favor and suggesting he take a break while the work is done. He tells him to wait outside for a moment. We see that the family's loyalty is perhaps not as solid as Song Yin believes. The butler muses to himself that since he has the old master's orders, he can use others to do his dirty work and still gain a favor. He considers this a perfect assignment. To be safe, he wants to ensure that Chu Chun is in no condition to meet anyone tomorrow. He is determined to make sure Chu Chun is 100% unable to see young Lady Xia. A cruel plan, by any measure. We return to the scene where Qingpeng confronts Chu Chun, reminding him of the humiliation he suffered earlier. He snarls that since Chu Chun made him drink water in public, he is now going to show him the true meaning of blood is thicker than water. It is a classic case of a bully seeking to reclaim his pride through violence. Naturally, he hasn't come alone. He calls out to his hired thugs, giving them specific instructions on how to handle the situation. He tells them they can break Chu Chin's legs if they want, but to spare his face, as the old master still needs him for appearances. But as he waits for a move, he notices something strange. There is no response from his men, none at all. Chu Chun lets out a soft sigh, wondering what on earth is going on with these people. He never imagined that the first time he'd use his 9 mysterious sect skills after leaving the mountain would be against such low-level thugs. To be perfectly honest, he finds the whole situation rather embarrassing. Meanwhile, Manager Fong is asked if the real show has even started yet. One of the guests mentions they only brought everyone along because Brother Yi promised them some evening entertainment. They've heard rumors that the Song family plans to finally discard their foolish son-in-law tonight. The plan, apparently, is to hand the third young lady of the Song family over to Brother Yi instead. Suddenly, someone wonders who is making such a scene, as the sound of laughter echoes through the air. Chu Chun interrupts the mockery, telling the man to stop barking like a dog and apologize to his wife. The man snaps back, asking if Chu Chun has any idea who he is dealing with, before pausing in realization. He recognizes him instantly. He tells his brothers that they are in luck. As the saying goes, speak of the devil and he shall appear. This is the man they were looking for. This, we see, is the famous foolish son-in-law himself. The man mocks him, asking if he realizes that after tonight, his wife will belong to young Master Yi. It is a cruel taunt, meant to provoke a man they believe cannot defend himself. Chu Chun simply repeats his demand for an apology, leaving the others wondering if this fool actually managed to take down Brother Dong. They find it hard to believe a supposed idiot could be capable of such a thing. The man asks if he has a death wish, and for a moment, it seems as though everything is about to fall apart. The crowd is horrified that the fool dared to strike Rong Dong, the young master of the Rong group. The Rong group is one of the most untouchable powers in Changchun, and young Master Rong himself used to run a martial arts gym. The crowd watches in anticipation, certain that tonight, this so-called fool is about to be crushed by the boss's heavy fists. They expect his martial arts to leave the boy crippled, shouting for the boss to break him and beat him to death. It is a chaotic scene, filled with the rowdy energy of thugs looking for blood. Suddenly, the leader snaps, screaming at his men, asking if they have all gone completely mad. He orders them to get in there and kill the kid, furious that they aren't following his lead. We see someone rushing over to Qin Peng, shaking him and desperately telling him to wake up. Confused by the carnage, they demand to know what happened and exactly who laid a hand on them. The answer comes as a shock. It was Chu Chun. They can hardly believe their ears. They wonder how on earth they could be beaten by him, and more importantly, where Chu Chun has gone. One man stammers, remembering quite clearly that they were all supposed to be attacking Chu Chun just a moment ago. But it felt as though Chu Chun was using some kind of dark sorcery or forbidden art. Qin Kuan scoffs at the idea of magic, though the confusion on the ground is very real. Somehow, for reasons they can't explain, they all ended up hitting their own allies instead of their target. Suddenly, a series of screams ring out, making everyone wonder what that terrible sound could be. The leader yells at his men, calling them a bunch of useless trash for their incompetence. He demands to know why they are hitting him, threatening to kill them all in a fit of blind rage. The thugs are terrified, crying out that it's like a ghost is among them, because they were certain they were hitting the enemy. Chu Chun warns them all to stay back, his voice calm even as the situation spirals out of control. He makes no promises about how many bones will be left unbroken if they continue this folly. Young Master Rong stammers in disbelief, reminding Chu Chun of his status, shocked that anyone would dare treat him this way. Chu Chun simply scoffs, making it clear he doesn't care which family this young master belongs to. He demands that the man apologize to his wife immediately, right here and now. Otherwise, there will be consequences, though the young master still can't fathom why this is happening. This is supposed to be young Master Yan's territory, and he is surrounded by his own men. He can't understand how he was knocked to the ground by a fool, which, to be honest, is a fair question. He only came to watch the show, yet here he is, humiliated and filled with a growing rage. Chu Chun warns him that if the apology doesn't come, he will simply continue to apply pressure. The pain is immediate, sharp, and entirely convincing. The young master finally yields, and Chu Chun notes how obedient he's become, though the onlookers sense disaster. They are certain a major incident is brewing, and we see Song Qinghe rushing onto the scene. He demands to know why Chu Chun is still here, having told him to go home long ago. Manager Pang is asked for an explanation, and he points toward the fallen young Master Rong. He claims Rong was merely asking about Chu Chun's identity when the boy suddenly attacked him without provocation. The news hits the room like a physical blow, leaving everyone wondering how such a thing is possible. They find it hard to believe a fool could take down Rong Dong, and wonder if the Song family has hidden allies. A cold voice notes that some hidden force must be protecting Chu Chun, turning the gaze toward Mr. Song. He is told quite bluntly that he hasn't kept a very good watch over his own family members. The speaker reminds him of a very cold reality regarding the Song family's current standing. Their most important project is a three-way partnership, and if the Yi family were to pull out, the third party remaining would be none other than the Rong Group itself. He is right, of course. The Rong Group is not an entity that the Song family can afford to offend. And now, thanks to the chaos caused by this son-in-law, it seems the Rong Group's patience has run out. They likely won't have any desire to cooperate with us anymore, proving that Master Zhang was right all along. He warned that Chu Chan would eventually bring nothing but ruin and disaster to our family. The Song family is already feeling the weight of his actions, and the tension in the room is palpable. Song Qinghe quickly steps in, offering an apology on behalf of the family and promising any compensation Rong desires. He assures him that the Song family will show absolute sincerity in making amends for this unfortunate incident. However, young Master Rong coldly replies that the Song family's sincerity is something he simply cannot afford to accept. He turns his gaze to Chu Chan, declaring that no matter who protects him, things will not end well tonight. He vows that if Chu Chan manages to return home in one piece, he will write his own name backwards. Chu Chan, entirely unfazed, simply wonders what the man's handwriting has to do with him, which is a fair point. The onlookers are left whispering in shock, wondering how Chu Chan managed to provoke someone like Rong Dong. They thought he had gone home, yet here he is, causing trouble with the heir of the Rong family. This is a situation that won't be easily resolved, and everyone knows this brat has crossed a dangerous line. A rival scoffs, realizing he won't even have to lift a finger to deal with Chu Chan anymore. From this moment on, there is someone in Changcheng who wants Chu Chan dead at any given moment. A voice tries to mediate, suggesting that the three families should remain united and not let small matters ruin their harmony. But Rong Dong isn't convinced that being assaulted is a small matter, and his anger remains white-hot. The host suggests that since the birthday celebration has turned into this, perhaps it's best for Mr. Song to head home. As for who he should take back with him, the host makes it clear that the choice should be very obvious. The host quickly tries to smooth things over, assuring everyone that the situation is under control and the tension has passed. He suggests it's time to head back, though he notes there aren't enough cars for everyone, telling Chu Chan to find his own way. He expects him to just catch a ride home, which, under the circumstances, is quite the request. Song Yin immediately protests, realizing that leaving Chu Chan to return alone is essentially handing him a death sentence. Her family dismisses her concerns as nonsense, claiming they are simply letting him go home, not putting him in danger. They argue that they've already been generous enough by letting him remain part of the Song family for one more day. The rival, Yi, chimes in with a mocking challenge, stating that if Chu Chan actually makes it home safely tonight, he will personally come out to welcome him and throw a grand celebration in his honor. The others agree, praising young Master Yi for his supposed mercy in giving Chu Chan even this slim chance. The eldest brother-in-law joins the mockery, promising that if Chu Chan returns, he will personally serve him tea. It's a bold claim, made with the absolute certainty that Chu Chan won't survive the night. Rong Dong seems satisfied by the Song family's display of sincerity and their willingness to cast Chu Chan aside. He admits he might have been too narrow-minded before and expresses a renewed interest in the three-way partnership. He agrees to continue the cooperation, which is exactly what the Song family was hoping to hear. Yi announces that tomorrow he will visit the Song house to take Song Yin to the Xia family to finalize the deal. He even promises to let her manage a portion of the project once the contract is signed. The Song family is overjoyed, offering profuse thanks to both young Master Yi and young Master Rong for the opportunity. As they prepare to leave, they bid Chu Chan a cold farewell, treating him as if he's already a ghost. They suggest there's no need for goodbyes, as they are certain this is the last time they will ever see him. They laugh, mocking the fact that he should feel lucky just to have been granted this final, dangerous walk home. They laugh, telling him that since he's headed for the afterlife, he should let them know if he runs out of money there. They mockingly suggest he send them a dream from the beyond, and they'll be sure to burn some paper offerings for him. Song Yin, however, refuses to leave him behind, grabbing Chu Chen's arm and insisting they leave together. She tells him that as long as the papers aren't signed, they are still husband and wife, and she won't abandon him in a crisis. Her family is horrified, shouting for her to come back, but the rival, Yi, simply watches with a twisted smile. He tells the others it's fine, as he actually enjoys watching a spirited woman struggle before she finally gives in. To him, seeing her desperate attempt to save a doomed man only makes the eventual victory sweeter. As they make their escape, they are met by Xiao Qiu, who admits he didn't exactly want to come along. He explains that his father sent him to protect her, fully aware of the dangerous situation Chu Chan is now in. It's true that Chu Chan has thoroughly enraged Rong Dong, and we can assume Rong Dong's men are already on the move. They are likely hunting him across the entire city, leading Xiao Qiu to ask why he had to hit Rong Dong in the first place. Chu Chan simply says the man had a foul mouth, to which Xiao Qiu retorts that he's been insulting Chu Chan for 5 years without getting hit. Chu Chan bluntly reminds him that it's only because Xiao Qiu can't win in a fight, which, to be honest, is a fair point. Xiao Qiu grumbles that in this world, power is everything, and having strength without influence is ultimately useless. In his eyes, Chu Chun is still just a fool who doesn't understand how the world of the elite actually functions. He tells Chu Chun that he will drop him off outside the city limits, advising him to stay hidden and live a quiet life from now on. He warns him to be an honest, unremarkable person for his own safety, advice that Chu Chun listens to in silence. Suddenly, headlights appear behind them. Rongdong's men have caught up much faster than anyone expected. Song Yin urges Xiao Qiu to speed up and lose them before they leave the city, or Chu Chun won't stand a chance. But then, Chu Chun does something unexpected. He calmly tells them to stop the car and let him out. Chu Chun explains that as long as he remains in the car, they will all be in danger, and his only choice is to draw the pursuers away. He insists this is the only way for them to be safe, but Song Yin immediately cries out that he can't do this. She asks if he's lost his mind, certain that the moment he steps out of the vehicle, they will kill him. Ignoring her plea, he tells Xiao Qiu that his driving is good enough to protect his sister and adds one final instruction. He tells them to make sure the enemies pay for the car damage, leaving Song Yin shouting in confusion for him to come back. But the decision is made, and he tells Xiao Qiu to open the door and let him out right then and there. Watching from the pursuing cars, the men mockingly conclude that the fool is abandoning his wife just to save his own skin. They can hardly believe their luck, seeing the man they were hunting practically hand himself over. The order is given to speed up and surround him, as they find it hilarious that he's running away alone. Rongdong commands his men to capture the freeloader and bring him back alive for a proper reckoning. He sneers that he wants to personally deal with this coward who thinks he can just walk away. The chase intensifies as they scream for his blood, determined to hunt him down and break him for his insolence. Seeing them swarm toward Chu Chun, Song Yin desperately tells Xiao Qiu to let her out so she can negotiate with young Master Yi. Xiao Qiu refuses, reminding her that his only job is to keep her safe and he won't let her walk into a trap. She snaps back that she doesn't need protection, believing the Roan group wouldn't dare lay a finger on her anyway. She orders him to go save Chu Chun while she tries to reason with Yi, hoping there is still time to stop the violence. She warns Xiao Qiu that if anything happens to Chu Chun, she will never acknowledge him as her brother again. Reluctantly, Xiao Qiu yields, and we see Song Yin finally standing before the rival, Yi Xiaowang. She demands to know what it will take for them to let Chu Chun go and end this madness. Yi Xiaowang looks at her and says he will be direct, asking her if she knows the truth about the fingerprints. Yi Xiaowang explains that the fingerprints can replace a signature, and tonight, he fully intends to have Chu Chun beaten to death so they can use his cold fingers to sign the divorce papers. However, he offers a cruel alternative. If she agrees to marry him right now, he might just show a bit of mercy and allow Chu Chun to live out the rest of his days as a cripple. Song Yin is horrified by their despicable plan, calling it a blatant act of robbery and a total violation of the law, telling them to forget it. But Yi Xiaowang coldly tells her to shut up. He claims he has already given the Song family and Chu Chun far too many chances to survive for her sake. Since she refuses to take the easy way out, he decides it's time for the hard way. His patience has finally reached its limit, and he declares that not only will she belong to him tonight, but Chu Chun will also never leave this place alive. We see Xiao Qiu watching from the sidelines, thinking how shameless it is for two grown men to threaten his sister. And yet, he finds himself frozen, struggling with his own cowardice in this moment. He tells himself to move, to do something, but he remains paralyzed as he watches his sister being bullied, until suddenly, Chu Chun reappears by his side. Xiao Qiu is stunned, asking how he returned after being chased by a mob. Chu Chun simply jokes that they must have gotten lost. Getting down to business, Chu Chun asks why he isn't fighting, since he claimed he could take on 10 men like Rongdong. Xiao Qiu stammers, admitting that while he wants to help, stepping forward means making the Song family an enemy of the Roan group, and his legs simply won't move. Chu Chun sighs, noting that the boy really is a bit of a coward when it counts. As Chu Chun starts to walk toward the danger, Xiao Qiu panics, asking if he's lost his mind. Chu Chun pauses, telling the boy to remember his words. Whenever someone dares to hurt the people you love, you must find the courage to stand up and face them. That, he explains, is what it truly means. To be a man, regardless of how powerful the enemy might be. Xiao Qiu can only watch in disbelief as Chu Chun steps forward. The others are just as shocked, laughing at the fool who decided to deliver himself right into their hands. Yi Xiaowang mocks him, calling him a complete idiot before ordering his men to take him down. Chu Chun continues his lesson, noting that even if you get hurt or lose everything and have to start over, it doesn't matter. If you are a man, you must act like one and give it everything you've got. As a heavy punch flies toward him, Song Yin screams for Chu Chun to run before he's destroyed. But instead, he tells Xiao Qiu to watch how a real punch is thrown. The result leaves everyone speechless. He actually stops the attack with ease. Turning his gaze toward the leader, he tells Yi Xiaowang that he is next. It's a bold move, to say the very least. Yi Xiaowang bursts into laughter, convinced that Chu Chun has finally lost his mind completely. He asks if Chu Chun thinks this little hero saves the beauty act is actually something to be proud of. He claims he was the one mediating behind the scenes to keep the Song family safe from Rongdong's wrath. And yet, here is Chu Chun, seemingly hell-bent on destroying the three-party cooperation. that the Song family relies on to survive. It's a classic villain's lecture, really. He argues that anyone with eyes can see the Song family only has a future if they cling to his own Yi family. By provoking the Rong family now, he warns that sanctions are inevitable and the Song family will be crushed. When that happens, they will have no choice but to beg him for help. So how does Chu Chen dare to raise a hand? Laughing, he advises Chu Chen to come over, kneel down, and beg for mercy while there's still time. He demands that Chu Chen divorce Song Yin immediately, claiming it is the only way. He might consider showing mercy and convincing young Master Rong to let him go. Otherwise, he warns that the only thing waiting for Chu Chen is a very painful end. Chu Chen simply huffs, wondering why a piece of trash has so much to say for himself. In his view, trash belongs in the garbage heap and nowhere else. Since Yi Xiaowang doesn't seem to know his place, Chu Chen decides he will be the one to personally send him home. Terrified, the young master stammers, asking what he thinks he's doing. He tries to warn Chu Chen to behave, but his threats are cut short by a sudden, sharp silence. Chu Chen notes with a smirk that the great young master Yi really isn't all that impressive after all, and just like that, the world is finally quiet again, which, to be honest, is a welcome change for everyone involved. Now that the distractions are handled, he begins to wonder where the item he's looking for might be hidden, but Song Yin rushes over, crying out in shock at what he's just done. She reminds him that she told him not to fight, and now he has completely offended two powerful families. Even she isn't sure she can protect him now. Chu Chen calmly explains that he wasn't fighting. He was simply delivering a one-sided beating. He then hands her some cash, mentioning he happened to collect the money for the car repairs. Song Yin stares at him, wondering if this is truly the same Chu Chen she thought she knew. In 5 years of marriage, this is the first time she's seen him use such sharp-tongued logic. Exasperated and at a loss for words, she tells him they need to leave the city immediately. She warns that soon it will be too late, but Song Qiu is still hiding nearby. Master Qiu, come out. He finally emerges, though his entrance is marked by a series of startled, panicked cries. The young man continues to shout in terror as he scrambles toward them. His screams echo through the air, a clear sign that he knows exactly how much trouble they are in. It seems the gravity of the situation has finally dawned on him. Chu Chen sighs, suggesting they don't need to go home, but Song Yin insists he's being far too reckless. She tells him that if he thinks he can just go back and rest, he must be dreaming. The Song family can no longer protect him, and once word of this gets out, the retaliation will be swift. She fears even her own father will want him gone. To be honest, things look quite bleak for Chu Chen. Song Yin agrees that Xiao Qiu is right and urges him to flee, but Chu Chen asks them to think logically. He asks them, if you were beaten up by a supposed fool until your teeth were on the floor, would you actually tell anyone? It is such a humiliating ordeal that they likely won't even tell their own subordinates. They will surely keep this secret buried deep inside forever out of pure shame. Besides, their father promised him one more day, so he won't make a move against him tonight. He insists that even if they send him out of the city now, he would simply find his own way back. After all, young Master Xia has already made an appointment to meet with him at the Song residence tomorrow, and he isn't the type of man to break a promise. Song Yin is stunned. This logic and eloquence. Is this really the same Chu Chen she married? Xiao Qiu gives up, suggesting they just go back, since the guy will return even if they exile him. Since the outcome is the same anyway, they might as well head home and face the music. Xiao Qiu sighs, telling his sister that it's fine and that from now on, he will be the one to protect Chu Chen. A noble sentiment, to be sure. Chu Chen simply wonders if he really needs protection, then reminds Xiao Qiu to call home. He suggests checking in with their father to ensure he hasn't been frightened to death by the news. The young man agrees, and we see him quickly making the call. Meanwhile, the father is asked what the old master wanted with him earlier. It turns out the second brother went to the patriarch to complain about Chu Chen's behavior at the banquet. He exaggerated the trouble Chu Chen caused, which is quite a blow after these 5 years. Our family finally secured the leadership position thanks to Chu Chen's luck, or so they believed. But now, the old master thinks this trouble is too great and wants the second brother to take over. The family panics, realizing that if the second uncle takes charge, they are all finished. The second uncle's businesses are thriving, and once he has power, he will surely suppress them. They fear the pressure will be unbearable. To be honest, the sibling rivalry here is quite fierce. Xiao Qiu grumbles that he will suffer the most, concluding that Chu Chen is nothing but a curse. The father tells them all to calm down, as the situation isn't set in stone just yet. Fortunately, Yi Xiao helped them distance themselves from Chu Chen, which helped stabilize things with Rong Xiao. By relying on this three-party cooperation, they might still be able to stay ahead of the second brother. For the sake of that partnership, the old master agreed to let him remain as the head of the house. Relieved, they remarked that Chu Chen's downfall might actually have some value after all. And yet, Xiao Qiu still feels that Chu Chen deserves a thorough beating for the trouble he caused. The family reasons that the more miserable Chu Chen's end is, the more satisfied Rong Xiao will be. Just then, the phone rings. The father asks if Xiao Qiu and the others have returned yet. He tells them it's fine as long as they are safe, but then Xiao Qiu drops a bombshell. The father freezes, asking his son to wait and repeat exactly what he just said. The rest of the family watches in confusion, wondering what could have startled the old man so much. Stuttering in disbelief, the father gasps that Chu Chun isn't dead. In fact, he's already back. We return to the car, where Chu Chun calmly announces they've arrived and tells them to get out. Xiao Qiu is in a state of pure shock, muttering that this shouldn't be possible as he hands over the phone. After hanging up with his father, the young man suddenly feels a cold shiver running down his spine. Wait a moment, he seems to recall a very specific promise his father made recently. The old man had sworn that if Chu Chun actually made it home safely, he would personally come out. He promised to welcome him with a grand reception. To be honest, this is a complete disaster for Xiao Qiu. He suspects Chu Chun did this on purpose, making him call ahead just to set the stage. By calling, he has indirectly signaled to his father that the prodigal son is back to claim his due. It's as if he's telling the old man to come out and face the music while his dignity takes a hit. Realizing the trouble he's in, Xiao Qiu begins to spiral, certain that his life is effectively over. His sister asks what's wrong and urges him to move, but he can only wail about his impending doom. He feels utterly defeated as they approach the entrance of the family home. And there they are, the family is waiting. Chu Chun, welcome back, they say, though the words likely taste like ash. As he steps inside, the weight of the situation finally hits everyone. Chu Chun is truly home. Xiao Qiu is spiraling, thinking he's finished after seeing his father's incredibly reluctant expression. He's certain a brutal beating is waiting for him. To be honest, he might be right. Chu Chun looks around, wondering why everyone is staring at him with such intensity. Xiao Qiu is convinced this was intentional. This guy is absolutely doing this on purpose. Chu Chun then spots his eldest brother-in-law standing there and greets him casually. He asks if his tea is ready yet. It's a bold move, and Xiao Qiu thinks he's dead meat. Is Chu Chun trying to reach the heavens? Having the father personally welcome him was one thing, but now he wants the eldest brother-in-law to serve him tea. Surprisingly, the man actually did say that if Chu Chun returned, he would personally pour the tea. But since he usually looks down on Chu Chun more than anyone, it seemed impossible. And yet, here we are. The brother-in-law tells him to be careful and offers the tea. Yes, he's actually doing it. Chu Chun offers a simple thanks. To the onlookers, this feels like the world has turned upside down. Xiao Qiu wonders if there's any justice left in the world. This is getting far too crazy. Chu Chun tells him he's a good man, which only makes the brother-in-law seethe with hidden rage. He mutters that since the father personally welcomed Chu Chun, he didn't dare refuse to pour the tea. The father turns to Xiao Qiu, asking if he was the one who rescued Chu Chun while protecting Yin Yin. Xiao Qiu panics, immediately denying it. He wants no part of this credit or the blame. The others chime in, asking why he would bother saving him, as if Chu Chun hadn't caused enough trouble. Xiao Qiu feels like the final judgment has arrived. The reckoning is finally here. But then, someone tells them to wait. We see that Chu Chun's return has caused quite a stir. It was hard to believe, but Xiao Qiu insisted it had nothing to do with him. He explained that he was only protecting his sister, and that Chu Chun had somehow managed to lose the Rong family dojo's men before following them back. The father called it nonsense. He asked if Xiao Qiu really expected him to believe such a ridiculous story. After all, every Rong family dojo in the city had been mobilized. How could they fail to catch one fool? He accused him of lying. It seemed Xiao Qiu was practically begging for a punishment. The father called for his men to bring the whip. It appeared the father and the others truly didn't know that young Master Yi had been beaten. If they did, a simple family punishment wouldn't be enough to settle the matter. For now, Xiao Qiu just had to take the beating to let his father vent his anger. He called out Xiao Qiu's name with a cold finality. He told his son he needed to learn a lesson he wouldn't forget. But then, Chu Chun suddenly told him to wait. He reminded his father-in-law that even a tiger doesn't eat its cubs. Xiao Qiu was still so young, after all. He asked how the man could have the heart to use such a lethal hand over such a small matter. The father was stunned. He repeated the words, lethal hand, in disbelief. This was just a standard family punishment. It wouldn't kill anyone. The onlookers were delighted. In all their years in this house, they had never seen anyone brave enough to interrupt a family punishment. To them, this was an act of peak rebellion. They whispered that Chu Chun clearly had a death wish. His sister-in-law frantically told him to back down and stop provoking her father. Even the eldest brother-in-law told him to get out of the way. Xiao Qiu told him to stop embarrassing himself. It was just a few lashes, and he wasn't going to die from it. The father was livid, declaring that Chu Chun had completely lost his mind and turned against the family. He warned the grandfather not to protect him this time. Anyone who dared to obstruct the family law, in his eyes, was clearly looking to be punished as well, and that included Chu Chun. Chu Chun pointed to the weapon, asking the father to look closely if he truly didn't intend to kill Xiao Qiu. He questioned why the whip was filled with so many hidden needles, leaving the father completely speechless. The room fell silent as they looked. What? The father muttered, staring at the whip in his hand. Xiao Qiu gasped, asking how there could be so many needles and if his father truly meant to kill him. The father stammered in shock, wondering how on earth such things could be hidden inside the family whip. He wondered aloud if someone was trying to murder his son, then turned his gaze towards Song Ruin. He reminded Ruin that she was the one who handed him the whip, but she claimed she had no idea. She explained that the whip is always kept in the study and she had simply brought it over as requested. The father barked back, asking if she was implying he was the culprit, nearly causing his own son's death. He told her to prepare for punishment herself, but then the eldest son-in-law stepped forward to intervene. He argued that Chu Chun was the suspicious one, questioning how a fool saw the needles when no one else did. He suggested that Chu Chun might have been the one to hide the needles in the whip himself. The others agreed, thinking it was a likely possibility, but Chu Chun simply looked at them with disdain. He asked if they were all blind, stating he could see not only the needles but also the poison on them. The word poison sent a shockwave through the room, leaving everyone wondering if he was serious. The brother-in-law scoffed, telling Chu Chun that his brain must still be stuck in a state of idiocy. He asked if anyone would really dare to poison Xiao Qiu right in front of the entire family in broad daylight. He added that Xiao Qiu wasn't like Chu Chun, who went around making enemies everywhere he went. The sister-in-law joined in the mockery, but the grandfather finally shouted for them all to be quiet. He decided it was better to be safe than sorry, ordering them to take the whip to Taoist Qingfeng immediately. We learned that Taoist Qingfeng is a disciple of Taoist Zhang, and he would certainly know if those needles were truly poisoned. The grandfather's order was absolute, and the servants quickly moved to obey his command. After a careful inspection, Taoist Qingfeng confirmed the grim truth. The needles were indeed laced with a lethal toxin. Even a tiny scratch would mean certain death, a revelation that left the entire room gasping in collective horror. The father realized with a sinking heart that someone wasn't just trying to hurt Xiao Qiu, but was using his own hands as the weapon. He wondered who could possibly harbor such malice, wanting to see his son dead by his own father's whip. The brother-in-law argued that while Chu Chun might have spotted the needles, identifying the poison was another matter entirely. He insisted that this whole situation was far too suspicious and likely had everything to do with Chu Chun himself. He even suggested that Chu Chun was the one who poisoned the whip to kill Xiao Qiu, urging his father to take action. He demanded they seize Chu Chun immediately, believing that a little torture would surely force the truth out of him. Others joined in the accusations, but Xiao Qiu finally spoke up, telling them they were all being far too cruel. Chu Chun remained perfectly calm, and the grandfather finally snapped, declaring that this matter had nothing to do with him. The grandfather pointed out the obvious. If Chu Chun hadn't spoken up, Xiao Qiu would be dead by now. He scolded them for biting the hand that fed them, comparing their behavior to a dog attacking its own savior. He ordered everyone to disperse, and the father, realizing the weight of the situation, agreed it was time to end the scene. He told the others they should leave quickly, and with a few frustrated sighs, the crowd began to thin out. The brother-in-law muttered that the idiot was simply lucky this time as he walked away in a huff. Xiao Qiu turned to Chu Chun, offering a sincere thank you despite not understanding how he had seen the hidden danger. He thanked him for saving his life, reflecting on how poorly he had treated Chu Chun over the last 5 years. He tried to apologize for his past behavior, but Chu Chun simply watched him, leaving Xiao Qiu's words hanging in the air. The father couldn't believe his son had been won over by this kid, but he decided to let it go for now. He reminded them they were family and shouldn't dwell on the past, prompting a quiet thank you from Xiao Qiu. Later that evening, the father gently asked Xiao Qiu if he held a grudge over the day's events. Xiao Qiu insisted he was fine, knowing someone else had plotted against him, though he admitted his father played a part. There was still something bothering the father, however, and he pressed his son for the absolute truth. He demanded to know how Chu Chun had really returned, considering Rong Dong's immense power and influence. It seemed impossible for him to return completely unscathed, and the father needed to know what had actually happened. Xiao Qiu hesitated, looking at his father while trying to find the right words to explain the situation. He warned his father that the story was a bit intense and asked a rather peculiar question first. He nervously asked if his father suffered from high blood pressure or any heart conditions before proceeding. The father scoffed, claiming he had seen it all, and told his son to just spit it out already. Xiao Qiu began to describe the scene, explaining how Chu Chun didn't even flinch when the house was surrounded. With a wild look in his eyes, Chu Chun had supposedly shouted a dramatic, ancient-sounding boast about his own eternal destiny. And then, in a move no one expected, Chu Chun simply grabbed a nearby trash can from the side of the road. With a powerful slam, he shoved the trash can right over young Master Ye's head. Young Master Yi was knocked out cold on the spot, and Xiao Qiu recalled thinking how cool Chu Chun looked. The father stood frozen, processing the fact that Chu Chun had actually laid hands on the powerful young Master Yi. Suddenly, the father collapsed, leaving Xiao Qiu screaming for help as his dad lost consciousness from the shock. The news spread quickly through the household, leaving everyone in a state of utter disbelief. The grandfather stared in shock, asking if it was truly possible that they had actually attacked young Master Yi. The mother wailed in despair, realizing they had completely and utterly offended the powerful Yi family. She feared that once the three-party cooperation was terminated, the father would be forced to step down for the second uncle. Xiao Qiu could only offer a quiet apology, feeling the weight of the family's impending crisis. Refusing to give up, the mother decided she would stay up all night to prepare a new, extravagant gift. Her plan was simple. Xiao Qiu would sign the papers in front of young Master Yi and kick Chu Chun out of the house. She desperately hoped this might still save the Song family's reputation and future. Later, we see the father, still shaken, asking his wife what they should possibly do now. Chu Chun, however, told them not to worry about a simple three-party agreement, promising a solution by tomorrow. He claimed he could secure a deal with the Xia family, who were far superior to the Yi or Rong families. He assured them he would provide the family with a satisfactory outcome, though it sounded like a bold claim, to say the least. Later that night, Xiao Qiu pulled him aside, asking if he had finally recovered his memory and his wits. After all, Chu Chen's behavior throughout the evening had been indistinguishable from that of a perfectly normal person. Chu Chen nodded, confirming that after 5 long years, he was finally himself again. Xiao Qiu was relieved, but then he asked the most logical follow-up question. Did he remember where his home was? It had been a very long time, after all, and the question of his true home remained a mystery. The sudden question seemed to catch Chu Chen off guard, leaving him momentarily dazed as he searched his mind. Xiao Qiu told him not to rush, thinking that if they found his home, they could finally send him back safely. That way, they wouldn't have to worry about who would look after him in the future. Suddenly, a spark of recognition lit up his eyes as he claimed to remember everything. He revealed he belonged to the Chu family of the capital, the greatest clan in the land, and that he had 9 masters. He went on to claim they were all legendary figures, capable of incredible feats both in the heavens and on earth. They could even teach him mystical arts, but Xiao Qiu simply sighed, realizing she had expected far too much. It seemed Chu Chen's illness hadn't improved at all. If anything, his delusions had only grown more severe. She decided to drop the subject, asking him instead to just talk about how he felt after these past 5 years. Chu Chen paused, repeating the question as he reflected on the long journey he had just traveled. Xiao Qiu assumed that since he couldn't express himself all this time, he must have suffered endless humiliations. She imagined he was filled with pain and felt the coldness of the world, desperate for someone to talk to. After all, she was the only one who had stayed by his side through it all, his devoted wife. But Chu Chen just joked that having such a beautiful wife for 5 years, he was surprised he hadn't claimed her yet. She snapped back, asking who he was calling a pig, while he quickly tried to calm her down. He claimed he was just using a metaphor, but she wasn't having it, calling him a big, silly pig instead. With a cheeky grin, Chu Chen told his wife he was heading off to sleep, leaving her standing there. She couldn't help but think he had grown quite bold to start making those kinds of jokes with her. The next day, we see Chu Chen questioning Xiao Qiu about why she was still focused on martial arts after yesterday. He wondered if she really thought a martial artist could bring victory now, but she quickly corrected him. She explained she was trying to help the family, as the Jintan City opening ceremony was only 5 days away. If she could win the martial arts competition at the festival, it might just solve the family's current crisis. Chu Chen was skeptical, wondering why she thought 5 masters could fix a business dilemma. It sounded like superstition. To be honest, he found the idea that a few fighters could replace a major contract a bit far-fetched. She brushed off his concerns, telling her brother-in-law he should probably finish his chores before giving advice. As it turns out, the Jintan City opening ceremony is also the 80th birthday celebration of the Huang family's patriarch. The Huang family is the most powerful clan in Chongqing, far surpassing even the influence of the Yi family. This martial arts competition is an event the old master dearly loves, and if someone could somehow win and catch his eye, it would be like a carp leaping over the dragon's gate for their entire family. It would bring immense honor and countless benefits, but currently, every major family in the city is preparing for it. The number of elite martial arts teams is staggering, and Xiao Qiu admitted that her chances of winning were slim. After all, despite her training, she still found it difficult to even land a hit on her opponents. She wondered who could possibly stand against such masters in the current climate. Chu Chen, however, didn't see the big deal, casually asking if the goal wasn't just to grab a ball. His brother-in-law stared at him, joking that in his past life, he must have been some kind of sharpshooter. Whether he was a sharpshooter or not was up for debate, but Chu Chen had other priorities. He considered himself a devoted husband first, and since winning brought so many perks, he had a plan. If he could help Xiao Qiu take the championship, he was certain his wife would be incredibly happy. Meanwhile, we see another family barking orders, telling everyone to stay sharp and decorate the place perfectly. Young Master Yi was arriving soon, and they needed to provide the highest level of hospitality to welcome him. The son assured his father that everything was under control, but the patriarch was still anxious. When Yin finally appeared, her father was horrified by her casual outfit, asking what on earth she was wearing. He scolded her for being ridiculous, reminding her that he told her last night young Master Yi was coming. He urged her to go back and change into a formal gown immediately, but she insisted there was no need. She claimed that young Master Yi wouldn't be coming to see them today, and the person who was coming could only be young Master Xia. Honestly, Chu Chen, what are you thinking? Dressing like this is pure madness. My blood pressure is rising just looking at you. When young Master Yi arrives and sees you looking like this, he'll be completely offended. Do you intend to ruin everything? Believe what you want, but if you ask me, if young Master Xia does show up, he won't appreciate all this grand, boring nonsense you've prepared. He appreciated me just because I gave Song Qingpeng a good beating. After all, it's clear that young Master Xia is a free spirit who values action over ceremony. Chu Chen, stop talking nonsense. In the business world, young Master Ye's word is law. If he said he was coming today, then he will most certainly be here. Exactly, and he specifically said it was impossible for young Master Xia to come. Besides, we still haven't cleared up the matter of those poison needles from last night. Chu Chun, if you're done, sign the new divorce papers and get out before you're an eyesore to young Master Yi. Chu Chun just saved Xiao Qiu's life last night, and yet here you are, acting so ungrateful. I'll say it again, I will never accept Yi Xiaowang. Oh, little sister, you're just young and naive. Once you experience the benefits of being with him, you'll surely change your mind. To be honest, she didn't seem convinced at all. Chu Chun just chuckled. Yi Xiaowang couldn't even handle a single blow from him, hardly a real man. Suddenly, a servant rushed in, shouting that the master and young Master Yi had arrived. He had spotted the exclusive luxury car approaching. The patriarch was overjoyed. It seemed young Master Yi didn't hold a grudge over last night's events after all. The patriarch let out a huff, feeling that perhaps the relationship between the Yi and Song families could still be saved. He turned to Chu Chun, noting that young Master Yi's car had already arrived, and asked if he still believed the man wouldn't show. He mocked Chu Chun, suggesting his face must be stinging from the embarrassment of being proven wrong so quickly. Chu Chun simply wondered if that was truly the case, as we see him watching the approaching vehicle with a calm curiosity. The patriarch ordered everyone to prepare to welcome young Master Yi, though Chu Chun noted it wasn't a certainty just yet. Suddenly, a voice rang out, asking why everyone was making such a fuss over a simple, casual visit. The newcomer looked around, remarking that they all looked like clowns in such a tacky, over-the-top display of ceremony. The crowd gasped in shock. It was young Master Xia. But why on earth was he stepping out of young Master Yi's car? Confused, they asked how he ended up in that car and, more importantly, where young Master Yi was hiding. It turned out that Chu Chun had predicted everything perfectly, right down to the fact that young Master Xia's outfit matched his own. Young Master Xia burst into laughter, explaining that he had just come from Yi Xiaowang's estate a moment ago. He revealed that Ye's face was swollen like a pig's head, and since he refused to leave the house, he lent Xia the car instead. The revelation left the family stunned. Chu Chun simply gestured for them to look at the reality of the situation. He reminded them that he'd already said their man of his word, young Master Yi, wouldn't be showing his face today. Xiao Qiu chimed in, calling them foolish for believing Ye's lies and mocking them for how embarrassed they must feel now. Just then, a servant rushed in to announce that the great patriarch himself was on the phone, which was quite a rare occurrence. The old man insisted that young Master Xia be brought to the ancestral residence immediately, leaving everyone in a state of shock. They couldn't believe that Xia's arrival had managed to stir the great patriarch from his long-standing seclusion. Old Man Song usually stayed at the old estate, ignoring worldly affairs, yet he remained the true power behind the Song family. Song Shuiyang was merely the acting head, but the arrival of young Master Xia had changed the gravity of the day entirely. Chu Chun realized that if even this old man was stirred, he simply had to help the great patriarch secure the cooperation with the Xia family. Young Master Xia was surprised to hear Old Man Song wanted to see him, and he immediately asked Chu Chun to lead the way. He even complimented Chu Chun's outfit, noting that great minds, or in this case, heroes, truly do think alike. Chu Chun gestured for him to lead on, while the others fumed, desperate to stop him from taking all the credit. Song Shuiyang's son pleaded with his father, arguing that Chu Chun shouldn't be allowed to go along. He worried that if Chu Chun lost his temper and struck young Master Xia, the consequences would be dire. The rest of the family agreed, fearing that provoking the Xia family would bring ruin upon them all. The patriarch looked at the empty car and realized that while the vehicle had arrived, Yi Xiaowang himself was nowhere to be seen. This felt like a clear signal of Ye's resentment, and it seemed their three-way cooperation was effectively dead. Now, for the sake of the Song family's future, they had no choice but to pivot their strategy. Even if the chances were slim, they had to place their hopes on Chu Chun to win over the Xia family. With a heavy sigh, the patriarch told the group to move out, leaving the others to stew in their frustration. They cursed under their breath, convinced that Chu Chun was simply benefiting from a ridiculous stroke of luck. Meanwhile, we see others laughing, having worried about the Yi family's situation while hearing news of the family's internal strife.